Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Yeah, it's the elephant in the room. You addressed it. And this is really, really, really important. I studied social geography, demography, and I'm always puzzled and interested in these kind of developments. Let me give you some little things. It's fundamental, because we talk about people. The whole conference is about people, younger people, older people, intergenerational solidarity, activity. And it's about people in the first place. If you look to Europe now and to the nationalistic changes, Austria, maybe, UK going out, it's about people. It's about reaching people. It's about touching people. It's about connecting people. It's about people's life, quality of life. So this line of people and people in charge, creating awareness, having the good political debates is one, I might say. Second thing, realizing the elephant, Europe. After World War II, 20% of the world population, ruling the waves, making important inventions, delivering Nobel Prize winners, etc. Now 10% of the world population, in 30 years, 7% of the world population. And there's a key point behind. If we don't change our method with our people, with a high European added value, our wealth will shrink. If. I'm a follower of the line of Merkel. In terms of her economy, we need a high added value. In some way, you cannot live just by finances or services. You know, knowledge, like fundamental research in this part of Europe, in Groningen, and innovation, what comes behind, and then production of services, of goods, exportation and consumption. The German model. Hello. Going stronger down the line in delivering services, and also talking about then this important point of healthy aging, etc. This is the key way of thinking. So the first point is about the population change. Second is, where differences in regions, how do the population develop? And there we see that cities are growing, and in general, rural areas are shrinking. You see in general, Western European parts, not general, but especially in the urban metropolitan areas, they are absolutely, after the crisis, retaking and growing. Young people go to Groningen. This is the main wealth we have. But where do the young people come from? Romania, Bulgaria? If you look around there, in the rural areas, you don't find hardly any youngsters. They go to the western part. So there you find the take-up after the crisis is that the new member states, the 12, 15 new member states, are really in a second or third group. And this is something we have to prevent. So my speech today will go in that direction, giving a specific turn on demographic change. Talking about Europe, you see that these differences are everywhere. This is just a map. This is not the map. But I want, for the criteria, for how we spend our funds, exactly what Anne-Sophie said a second ago, to have this in the mind of the political decision makers. What does it mean if you have 20 years of shrinking population? Listen to people in Leipzig. Listen to people who saw that their city was shrinking 30%. They got through. Listen to those people in the mid of Sweden, I went there very often, that have already 60% of their population above 60. they survive. But they do it in another way. So in some way of policy priority, we have to work on this, and my personal way of thinking is that for the next years, the next post-2020, we have now the debate in the parliament about criteria, about funding, that demographical vulnerability should be one of the key points. One of the key points, and I ask you all, let me say experts, people who can advise us to come forward with a sustainable, simple criteria how to bring this in funding schemes. And I will tell you more in a minute about the funding schemes. This is, let me say what Anne-Sophie already said, the blue part is the part of the European money. It's very easy. We get from you 1% of the GDP, of your general income. And this 1% is spent through these criteria. And the blue part is working on investing in people. The green part is investing in natural, agricultural, biodiversity things, really important. But you talk about the blue. And the blue is two parts. The more dark blue is on research and development. And the other blue, light gray, is in direction of the take-up of the innovation. Regional initiatives, city initiatives, to take, let me say, the best out of the research into practice. It can go about all kinds of initiatives. It can be about ICT, the Internet of the Things, the way we teach our people, but especially in this conference also the thing about the aging population. So there is quite, hardly the half of our money can be spent on the transformation of our knowledge into everyday quality of life. And then there is a kind of a technical thing. I won't talk too long about that. It's about, if you start beyond with a project that you want to do in this region, whether it is it is Lifelines or Inner Life or different names here around university, the UMCG, you can use different things. I start immediately with the yellow one. The one is, in fact, private money. This is really important. Don't talk just about public hand, because it's about ownership. It's about shared ownership, always. Then we have the green one. It's a new thing. That's the guarantee fund from European Union. This is to evoke, in fact, the banks, private investors, pension funds, to come into the real economy. This is something really important because we have so much money in the Union. In fact, in the Eurozone, every month, Draghi puts 80 billion into the market, into the financial market. But what's coming out in the real economy? What's coming out beyond? Too less. That's why the FC fund gives guarantees to projects for a longer life cycle, let me say, for 10 or 15 years, if you have to develop a product, so that the banks, for instance, will invest. Give you one example. From Philips, we develop, let me say, machines by which you can have a better performance with medicals. It has to be tested. We want to produce it in this part of the world. There is a guarantee from Europe, European Investment Bank, from the FC fund, and then banks come in because it cannot go bankrupt for that part. This is already a Dutch way of thinking, but Europe is now coming in strongly. And then the right part, the yellow one, the orange one, is the program for regional funds. As I showed you before, the blue part, and it's flowing into this kind of regional projects like we have here in Groningen. Now, what did we do in Europe? I was the main negotiator for the structural funds for the period 2014-2020, running period. And we said, no, you don't get an envelope of money. It was in the past, usually they invested in infrastructure, concrete, cement, and working like that. Now he said, we have to transform this fundamental knowledge in real society. And this question was the smart specialization. Come up with your priorities. Not just 1,000 things that you might do. No, what is the main thing in your region that is important for your people, that you have good knowledge about and you can work on future prosperity, and that you have a national added value, like Sophie said, over the different levels of governance, the national level and European level. Where can Europe get stronger, being 20% of the world population, being 5% in the coming years? Then you can be stronger on some things, and that I took out the north of the Netherlands. They took Energy Valley. They have here very, very good technology and knowledge, people who know how to bring it to practice, sensor, water, health, there we are, healthy aging. So coming up with their strengths is the path of investment of the Union. There is an agreement, there is a signature of European Commission for 7 years to support it. And this is what is done in other parts of Europe. And what we do is connecting these key players, connecting the front runners, and giving an opportunity to fit in for other regions who have the same priority or a niche, a certain niche in these priorities, because this is just a broad thing. In this way, every euro we invest is not spread about and diminishing, let me say, in European economy, but is an investment in clearly targeted subjects. And here I come back to the way we want to work in Europe. There's much more outcome if we connect these key players in the north of the Netherlands, on active aging with the others. And this is taking now, for the first time, 2014, 2020, its flow, and will be continued after 2020. And I'm now the rapporteur for the whole Parliament about the take-up of this of this program, of this way of thinking, of this way of connecting good players, front-runners, followers in Europe. And we take out the conclusions for the debate for post-2020. And Lifelines is then one of those projects. I don't have to tell too much about it because it's in the conference, because you have a lot of workshops about it. But here you have your own specific added value in the way that this research is done here in Groningen, is done together with other regions in Europe, and brings us to new knowledge and new patterns for prevention of health problems, and even to the new stage of the personalized medicine, to the new stage of the online communication, to our new world. This is, in fact, the way I want to have it. And then, I talked about people. I talked about people because it's via people. It's about young people that we invest. It's the intergenerational approach that we need. And here we have the EIT. What's the EIT? The EIT is, in fact, in its origin, the initiative of Barroso. Barroso, the former president of the European Commission. He said, if United States with the MIT can bring forward that excellent engineers and that game changers, we should do the same in Europe. What did the member states say? The member states said no, because education and science is in the hands of the member states. It was blocked. And then I came in the parliament, and I could add 2 words to the title of the EIT. EIT was European Institute for Technology, and now it is European Institute for Innovation, for Rollout and Technology. And now it was accepted by the Council, and here you see an example. They work. We had to work hard in the parliament. In the first 4 years, 5 years, they got 400 million for this new initiative. And now, in the actual period, they have 2.4 billion. This is the way it works in Europe. And Mr. Bates will talk in a minute about the Pact of Amsterdam for the cities. This is the same way. You have to find a way that can align other partners in Europe, and that you sometimes have to go around the member states, because member states are very often blocking the potential of the European scale of our 500 million people. This is the problem. At this stage, if you make an app for health, and you have a young startup, and you make an app, you need national agreement from the health authorities in Denmark and in Luxembourg and Netherlands. My Lord, if you want to scale up, if you want to make business, this is the old Europe. So what I did in the parliament is bringing this forward, and the healthy aging is working like that. You see the dots. You see the blue dots, the key partners. You see the green dots, those who are following. And this is a combination of young people, education, and I had some note here, what they want to deliver, this proposal. It will, in fact, work very concrete on startups that they wanted to deliver. Maybe I forgot. They work on startups. They work on educating some 1 million young people in educational programs in the next 5 years. They will come forward with research, and always in a way that they combine research, applied science, bring in companies, and start with new companies and give them a strong support and incubators and accelerators. This is the way. What you see here, this is the elephant in the room moving. This is European Solidarity 4.0. It's not about who is the winner in the Eurozone and which countries are lacking behind. This is, in fact, the new cohesion approach as I see it post-2020. And it is, in fact, what Anne-Sophie said, an invitation to get in this kind of networks. And of course, we are working worldwide. It's of course, with all the best professors and researchers throughout the world. But if there is no take-up in Europe, we will really miss an opportunity to use the best potential of our people, again people. And let me end. I just publicized, these days, June is standing on it, talking about the startups, the road to the valley. And I don't know whether I meant here Groningen, but it's more in general meant. The road to the, where is this valley where we start this combination of research, development, and rollout, and really economy? Scale up and start up and scale up throughout Europe. I studied geography. You have to know the differences. You have to see these special factors, why some of our parts of Europe take up this speciality, this smart specialization, and others go in automotive, others go in the bio-based economy. This is just one part of it. But I think that there is room for a lot of European valleys. Not one valley, but many valleys. And those who want to have the booklet, I have them here, so you can take them with me. And I'm very happy that looking to the cities and the role of the local authorities, Mr. Bates can shortly tell something about the Pact of Amsterdam, because I think we are in the same line, and moving in the same direction. Because lastly I had a political debate, and a friend of mine said, we are in the same line. And I said, yeah, I believe, but you go in a different direction. No?